We're talking AISD Athletics next. Well, hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of Conversations. I'm your host, John Nelson. Another school year is upon us. That means athletically, volleyball has already started. As we speak, football is underway. From time to time, we'll visit with Kevin Ozee, the athletic director for the AISD, and he'll tell us about all the exciting things upcoming for the school year. And Kevin, first of all, I guess where did the summer go, and did you kind of get away from athletics?
We did. We took two nice little trips, got out of the country a little bit, and but it went by too fast. But this is always a great, I was telling our coaches the other day, this is my most exciting time. It's a great time to be back, and football, volleyball, cross country, and tennis are going full steam ahead.
What excites you about the upcoming school year and this being your first year as AD?
Well, being a first full school year, starting the year off, and then getting to see everything as it transpires as we start the beginning of the year, getting to know our coaches, and this week and next week getting out to see our athletes more than I came on board in December and I was going pretty fast and didn't get out on the campus as much as I'd like to, and I've made a place in my schedule each week to get out and rotate around the campuses, and I'm looking forward to that.
A couple of coaching changes from last year at Bowie. Lauren Otto was the new volleyball coach, and Laban DeLay, the new football coach at Lamar. And I think both of them are kind of, they like being back into the district. They've enjoyed coming back.
Yeah, and it's really neat to see. We've talked about Laban before coming back into the district, and Coach Otto coming back, and we also have some assistant coaches who have come back. We have junior high coaches who have left and come back, and that's neat to see because they see the district, that good things are happening in this district, and that's very positive. Very positive.
Of course, a lot of emphasis on football. Arlington Martin is picked by just about everyone to win the district. Bowie should be solid. Lamar has a lot of people coming back. Sam Houston making the playoffs last year. Arlington trying to get back to the playoffs. And Seguin just missing on a point differential of making postseason last year. But all of those teams should be right in the thick of things this year.
Yeah, as a former football coach, and going around watching just the little I've seen this week. For example, I was at Arlington High the day before yesterday, and I'm, wow, this is going to be fun watching this transpire this year. Too bad we only take 4 teams in the playoffs, because every one of our teams so far, what I've seen, are playoff contenders, and I would put our district up against any district in the state. The one maybe I just came from is a pretty tough district, but we're right there in the top 2 or 3 in the state.
It appears that, Kevin, the Arlington schools, all 6, will be playing at AT&T Stadium this year, which should be exciting.
That's an exciting thing. Last year we had 2 schools, 2 games there, 3 schools played there last year. This year we've worked with AT&T, and the Jones family and the staff at AT&T have been very gracious. We were trying for one weekend. We got bumped by Taylor Swift, and so we moved it to October 23rd and 24th. Some of the games were away games for us, so we've had to work with Waxahachie and North Crowley and Weatherford. They're giving up a home game to play at AT&T. So it's been some logistic things. We're working on some of the fine details of the contract with AT&T, but everything looks great, and our coaches and I know our kids are so excited. And it's going to be more than just a football weekend. You talk about every band, every cheerleader, every drill team member, or ROTC. It's going to be a true Arlington ISD event. I know our football coaches are reaching out to the Optimists and the Little League football groups to invite them to the games. It's going to be a neat event.
We're going to visit with your assistants, Bruce Chambers and Kim Peach, in just a few minutes. But how have they filled the role?
Well, they've hit the ground running. They came on board in March. Both have wonderful strengths. Coach Chambers, of course, coming from the University of Texas, and just his experience And before Texas, he was at Dallas Carter for many years. His experience and his connections. One of the neat things today, for example, we have the former strength coach at the University of Texas is here in Arlington giving a clinic to our coaches about strength and conditioning. And that's through Coach Chambers' connections. And you know, every day he'll come in with a story about, you know, Mac Brown or Ricky Williams, or, you know, when Willie Nelson would walk in and start hang out in their office and things. And the ideas that he brings from the collegiate level is just amazing. Kim Peach has just as many strengths. Her strengths are she's a great administrator and she knows this district. And that has been a great balance between the two. And really from day one, I've gotten out of their way because they are such strong administrators. And we kind of sat in a room and said, hey, we need to fill our open coaching positions with great people. We need to start building these connections and really making this a great place for our coaches. And they've hit the ground running, and the majority of their time has been spent in interviewing coaches coming in.
Yeah, I bet.
and they are a godsend, both of them. And I'm just so, Arlington ISD is so blessed to have them here, and me personally, blessed to have them.
Before we let you go, Kevin, how are things progressing with the indoor facilities?
They're on schedule. I believe I was told yesterday we're looking at October-ish to break ground, maybe late October, but they're on schedule to be ready by this time next year. So hopefully, you know, weather permitting, I should throw that in there, we're not out in this 106-degree heat anymore. We're in those indoor facilities with our football teams, our drill teams, maybe even our band practices. And that's going to be such a blessing for our district. It's going to be a neat thing, and will probably give us a little bit of a competitive advantage.
Kevin, what about sports psychology and sports nutrition? That kind of goes hand in hand these days. And also there's an academy program that's also been launched.
Yeah, we've launched some things behind the scenes with our coaches. I'm very excited about. I think it's going to help us as a program, but also help our student athletes and our coaches become better at what they do. The first thing we did, and actually Kim Peach was the architect of this, and very strong in detailed planning, is we created a new coaches academy. And what this is basically an introduction for new coaches and returning coaches to AISD about our district, how we operate as an athletic program. We had several of our head coaches from around town come in and give hour-long lectures and workshops on different topics. And one of our coaches who was returning, he told his campus coordinator that's the best workshop he's sat through in years. Then the next week we brought in and launched our partnership with a peak performance coach, and better known as a sports psychologist. And I've used this before in previous stops, and you know, teaching our kids and our coaches about how to the mental aspect of athletics, and also it carries over into their schoolwork. And our coaches spent July 29th, a full day, and they were fired up. It was a great day, and we looked to bring him back. And then we're also getting ready to launch in partnership with Texas Health Resources. We're going to launch, bring in sports nutritionists. Amy Goodson is actually the Dallas Cowboys nutritionist. She also works with TCU. She and her partner Christina Strudwick are going to come in and rotate around the campuses to work with our student athletes, our coaches, and also our parents on education and what it takes to properly fuel an athlete's body.
Yeah, this isn't a stopgap measure because the benefits are long range and can really pay dividends down the road.
Yeah, no, yeah, they're lifelong lessons. I look at it as an aspect, not only the lifelong lessons, but you know, we have great athletes, and the physical training, the running, jumping, lifting, all that stuff is in place. So what's the next step to get us to the next level? to have a competitive advantage. And the two things I see are the peak performance, the sports psychology part of it, and the nutrition part. Our sports psychologist that we've partnered with, he works with TCU's baseball team weekly, and you know the success they've had. He works with many collegiate and professional athletes, especially he has a lot of professional baseball clients. So there's a proven success rate there. The nutrition piece I think is huge. I know my own children, their nutrition is terrible. So there's some teaching going on there. But if you really want to perform at your peak level, you have to learn these things.
Well, I think mentally and nutritionally, we all need a boost
Absolutely.
from time to time.
Absolutely.
Kevin, to get information out, there's an internship program that has been established.
Yes, we've partnered with Amy Matzenbacher, who teaches a sports marketing class at the Parks Mall. And the idea is we want to place student interns at each campus, each high school campus, to produce content like a college sports information department. We really want to spotlight our coaches and our athletes and the accomplishments. And we're looking to really flood, for lack of a better term, our website, our social media, and everything that we can to spotlight the great things that are going on here. And also, I've had good experience of these sports marketing or sports information interns, placing them in other internships, for example, ESPN, Conference USA, the universities in the area. And when they go to college, a lot of them have been successful in getting jobs in the athletic departments at the universities they attend. It's an exciting program. We're going to start with the 6 key high schools and maybe start with a small group this year and really try to expand it as time goes by.
You can never have enough information in any sport. That's
and I think it's going to draw students in who may not necessarily play sports, but they love sports and they love the journalism piece of it or the marketing piece, and they want to be a part of it. And that's what we're looking to do, is grow the program and get a lot of kids involved.
Oh, that's very encouraging. Kevin, again, appreciate the visit.
Thank you.
Kevin will be popping in from time to time, updating us on the AISD athletic scene. We talked about Bruce Chambers, one of Kevin's 2 assistants, and earlier we had a chance to sit down and visit with Bruce Chambers. Along with Kim Peach, Bruce Chambers is the assistant athletic director to Kevin Ozee for the AISD. Bruce, a longtime coach at Dallas Carter, has a lot of strong ties, still high school-wise in the state of Texas, was on Mac Brown's staff as the tight ends coach at UT. Bruce, high school seniors now, we talked a little bit about it at National Signing Day, but they're more prepared to enter college now than ever before. It begins with a lot of counselors. The coaches are better equipped to deal with that. I'm sure you've seen a lot of positive changes in the last 20 years.
I have. I think one of the things that has helped me recruiting this area, obviously Arlington was one of my recruiting areas. But yeah, I think that the coaches now are so much further along now than what it used to be 15, 20 years ago, in the fact that recruiting now has become so big and it's such a business now, and obviously coaches have had to become educated with that, and they've done a good job with that.
In the 6 months here in Arlington that you've been on the job, what do you like about it so far?
Well, like I said, it being my recruiting area, I knew all the coaches. I knew a little bit about most of the athletes because obviously being the recruiting coordinator there at Texas, you tend to try to stay a year ahead. And then the fact that the teams in Arlington, all of them are very, very competitive. I think I always thought it was a great district. I thought it was a competitive district from top to bottom. And I'm just excited about watching them get out and play.
Bruce, how visible will you be at other events aside from football in the fall?
Very, very. One of the things that Kevin was talking to us about the other day was our schedule, the fact that we're going to go and we're going to touch them all. And I'm looking forward to being able to touch them all, being able to watch volleyball as well as football, and I'm excited about that volleyball.
The indoor facilities will pay dividends in years to come. Something that has long been needed. in this city, and I'm sure you've seen positive results in other areas as well.
You know, I think with the heat being, you know, obviously the heat becomes an issue this time of year. So I think the indoor facility will be a plus. You know, and when people think about indoor facilities, most of them think about, you know, rain and snow and cold weather. But in this part of the country, the heat is a major issue. So I think it's going to be a great plus.
So many high schools in this district, and overall District 4, 6A with the other 3 teams, you can never see enough, can you?
No, you really can't. You know, and I tell you what, with Arlington being, you know, having 5 schools in the district, you know, I think that's a big plus for the Arlington coaches.
What do you look for when you attend football games?
You know, one of the things that I'm gonna try to do is not look at it as a recruiter. It's gonna be real hard, though. You know, obviously, as long as I have been in college, it's gonna be hard. But I think one of the things that I look for is the team well coached. You know, and when you talk about well coached, the first thing that jumps out with me is discipline. You know, are they disciplined? Defense-wise, are they running to the ball? Those types of things. Do they finish on offense?
Because now, Bruce, you're looking at other things besides a simple handoff to a running back and other things that encompass the athletic season as well.
Exactly. You know, one of the things that I'm going to be looking at is I'm going to be watching the sidelines. I'm going to be looking at what those guys are doing on the bench. You know, what's their conduct like.
All right, we got to talk a little bit of Texas football here. You won a national championship in 2006 in the Rose Bowl. The game I remember, Coach, I don't know if the team was better, but the year before when you beat Michigan in the Rose Bowl, 38-37, it's one of the greatest games I've ever seen.
It really was. I tell you what, Vince Young probably had a lot to do with that. You know, but like I tell people all the time, you know, that Vince Young, he didn't play defense, but he had a lot to do with the fact that we kept the ball away from Michigan. And for a while there, it was a track meet. It really was. I think one of the things that the whole world got a chance to see was the fact that everybody wondered how fast Vince Young was. We never timed him, but we knew that he was fast enough. He was basically fast as he wanted to be because they had some guys in their secondary that were on their track team, and none of them could catch him.
You're certainly not familiar with the North Texas area. You attended North Texas.
Sure.
Did you also run track?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I ran track, long jumped, and you know, and ran on the relays.
Finally, Bruce, the goals this year, not only for the AISD, but yourself.
Well, you know, personally, this is something I've always wanted to do. I always said that once I got out of coaching that I wanted to stay around coaches and obviously be involved with them, being able to mentor young coaches and just be involved with the whole aspect of athletics. So this was a great opportunity for me. My goal is to obviously do everything that I can to help the coaches out, be a support for them, to help them grow, and make sure that Arlington ISD becomes the best ISD in the state of Texas.
Bruce, I'm sure we'll see a lot of each other. Good luck this year.
Thank you.
We also talked to Kim Peach, and she fills us in on her role as the other assistant AD. We're visiting with one of the new assistant athletic directors in the AISD, Kim Peach. Kim used to coach girls basketball at Arlington High, has been in administration, most recently at Gunn Junior High. So in a way, we welcome back Kim, even though she has still been in the AISD. Kim, how did you get to this point to where you could take on the responsibilities as one of the 2 new assistant athletic directors?
Well, kind of like you mentioned before, I started coaching in 1996 at Arlington High, and I actually did girls soccer and girls volleyball. And I worked there for 5 years, and then went to Mansfield High. I was the head coach in Mansfield for another 5 years, and then at that time decided to step back from the coaching piece. Around that time, I met with 3 different athletic directors and kind of got a feel for what I needed to do to move into that role. And so when I stepped out of coaching, I came back to Arlington and was teaching in Arlington, and I did cheerleading, JV cheerleading for a year when I was back, and during that time I was getting my master's in administration. And so I did that and then worked for 3 years. The last 3 years I've been at Gunn Junior High as an assistant principal. And then from there being able to move into this assistant athletic director position, having the coaching background as well as the administrative background. and then also having the experience at both the high school level and the junior high level. Because as an administrator, I'm at the junior high games weekly, multiple times a week, and seeing how things are, and being involved and getting to know the processes at the junior high level also. So it's been a pretty amazing track to get to this place. So I've been very blessed.
Kim, you're not that far removed from the game itself. What improvements in girls athletics have you seen generally, say, over the last 10 years?
Well, one thing, for instance, is we have two amazing athletic coordinators that are females in the district. We have Kay Giacondo at Lamar and Courtney Phillips at Seguin, and that's a big change from when I started coaching and have been coaching recently in the AISD. Having the person to follow in Ozee Kemp as an female athletic director in Arlington, it's a pretty amazing blessing to be able to have the administration support and be able to work with Coach Ozee and Coach Chambers to be able to follow Ozee in this capacity.
The new indoor facilities going up at all the high school campuses, that's going to enhance all the sports, but in particular, how about the girls' athletics?
You know, it's going to be based pretty much on the outdoor sports. Those are going to go into those areas. There's going to be new locker rooms for both boys and girls. There's going to be facilities that, you know, from band to soccer to softball, can go into those facilities when it's extremely hot outside, extremely cold outside, to be able to use those and train inside, and to be able to have the same rights and privileges as the boys' sports as well. So it's across the board. It's an amazing future for AISD Athletics to have those facilities.
I know it's early in the season, Kim, but what about the fall sports? How is it shaping up, and what are you really looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to getting back to games. You know, this.
I thought that'd be your answer.
I've been administrating for 3 years, but to actually just be able to go focus on the games and the kids and the coaches rather than what's going on in the crowds, what issues are we, what fires are we putting out as we go through that. I'm excited to see what happens in volleyball season. You know, we've traditionally had some pretty amazing talent throughout the city of Arlington at all 6 of the high schools. Same thing in tennis and cross country. So, you know, this is a very exciting time for me because I get to get back to athletics. And I get to get back to the root of, you know, part of why I went into teaching in the first place was to make a difference for kids and to mentor people. And so being able to be there for the coaches and be there for the kids is really exciting for me.
That kind of defines your responsibilities. Finally, the vision you see, the road ahead for 5 years.
Just for me, it's going to be learning. Like I mentioned earlier, Kevin Ozee is an amazing boss to have, to be able to learn from him, to be able to work with Michael Hill and Dr. Cavazos, to be able to learn the role of an athletic administrator in this district, to be able to help move forward girls' athletics, to be able to improve all the different facets of athletics in general for the district is really exciting.
Kim, welcome, and I'm sure we'll see you around at a lot of the events in the fall.
Thank you so much.
It's always fun to catch an athletic event in the city. Our thanks to Kevin Ozee, Kim Peach, and Bruce Chambers. Well, that'll do it for this edition of Conversations. We'll see you next time.